forward to this topic as karma is a widely known concept. It's not that clear how you discern if your hardships arise from bad karma or for different reasons. It is rare for people to say their unwanted circumstances are the result of their karma. They usually blame the other person. Can you help us understand how it works?
Yes, of course. It can be difficult to determine whether your life events are the result of positive or negative karma. In Sanskrit, karma means action or law of cause and effect. Karma is seen as the consequences of one's previous deeds, particularly those that were negative. Essentially, it adheres to the principles of energy and causation. A distinct energy is released whenever you act, eventually returning to you. Karma encompasses a wide range of elements such as your thoughts, intentions, deeds, actions, words, emotions, visualizations. It is important to note that karma doesn't only reflect a physical action, but includes the energy or consciousness of the person. Think about the idea that love can heal a person, so hate or anger can harm them. Holding ill feelings towards a person is carried in your auric field. Whether you believe it or not, it affects your daily interactions and blocks your progress. A well-known psychic facilitator interacting with his volunteer Erin in an online demonstration caught my attention when Erin candidly described her ongoing problem of giving in her relationships but receiving little or nothing in return. Although she found some fulfillment from her acts of giving, Erin expressed her frustration and disappointment at the lack of appreciation when she gave to others. The facilitator suggested that Erin's lack of receiving or being appreciated most likely stemmed from a past life where she was predominantly on the receiving end, only taking and not giving, creating a karmic cycle that required her to give without expecting anything in return. The facilitator's advice was to continue giving without expecting anything in return, attributing her situation to past life karma by not giving to others. It seemed Erin reluctantly believed the facilitator's advice, which was to keep giving when all her deeds were taken for granted and possibly not appreciated. While this response might hold validity, it appears to be a generic solution for all situations. Based on my reasoning, logic, and experience, I came to the opposite conclusion. Throughout the years, I've encountered people who admittedly said they felt they were repaying bad karma from previous lives. These people endured bad luck and very negative situations. The clues indicated they were presumably correct. Their energy matched their low vibrational actions, and they still acted in ways that hurt others. They also attracted other people who generated bad karma. In Erin's case, I was unable to see any clues as to why Erin had bad karma from a previous lifetime. Instead, I noticed she repeated the pattern of overgiving, over-sacrificing, and martyr-type behaviors where she needed to learn to give to herself first and value her energy. I would have advised Erin to take care of herself so she can feel whole and recognize her value. Her role isn't to look for needy people who don't appreciate or want her help. It is likely that these patterns came from her childhood when she was responsible for taking care of her younger siblings, or her needs were considered unimportant. As a result, it became part of her identity. The fact that Erin enjoyed giving and helping others was a clue that her current situation did not result from past karma. This revealed the true nature of her soul. If her situation were due to her not giving in a past life, the interactions would have been where she felt she was forced to give and didn't want to, as she would have carried over the exact uncaring nature into this life. Putting pieces of the puzzle together takes a while, but what is most important is how the truth feels. Use logic and cultivate your personal GPS so you can know the truth when you read, hear, or experience it. The obvious way karma accumulates is through angry, negative, abusive people. However, you may not realize that people like resentful overgivers may create negative karma when they don't feel appreciated, so what they give ends up with negative energy linked to the offering. It's a similar scenario endorsed by various cultures not to eat the food from a negative or angry person who prepared it. The cook's emotion can influence the overall content and energy of the food, and partaking in it conveys those emotions to the person consuming it. Being an overgiver also sends the message to the universe that the overgiver wants more of the same as they direct their energy on being this way. For example, more situations to give where they are not appreciated. This is why it is important to do the energy math equation and calculate the type of energy that is generated. So in summary, the lesson for Erin is not to create negative karma by not appreciating herself and her energy. Instead, when she values herself, she raises her energy and teaches others to value her. If she had children, she would ultimately be a positive role model to teach them to value themselves also. Martyrdom no longer works if you want a free life. It's a low-dimensional trait. In this case, Erin needed to ensure she put herself first before giving away what she didn't have to elevate her energy. What is the use of helping those who don't want help or appreciate what you do?
Thank you. I'm looking forward to learning how to do the energy math equation. Are there examples of people living out their karma which would indicate our soul is eternal and always evolving?
Part of life's work is understanding our relationship with the universe and how it affects us. Good karma means offering good services, including love, care, compassion, sincerity, honesty, generosity, kindness, integrity, and more, in previous and current lifetimes. In return, one could receive the blessings of good health, relationships, finances, and more. On the other hand, bad karma can be associated with unpleasant services such as killing, harming, taking advantage of others, cheating, stealing, etc. in previous and current lifetimes. These actions may result in difficulties with health, relationships, finances, and more. These lessons include sickness, broken and challenged relationships, accidents, and challenges in business and finances. The energy our thoughts and actions produce is underrated. It affects every part of our lives, and the lives of others can also change by what we think and feel about them. Please note that not all bad or negative things that happen to us result from negative karma. As you can see in these topics I am setting out, your soul is on a journey. Karmic situations in which you find yourself are your soul's mirror and travel guide. Karma can show you where you've been and where you might go to learn lessons you've chosen for this lifetime. A captivating near-death experience account on YouTube features Norma Edwards, through which she vividly recounts glimpses into her past lives. Among these, she shares one of the most impactful revelations as she witnessed herself as a black child tirelessly laboring in cotton fields alongside her mother. The palpable fear of failing to meet the enforced quota and then being whipped by the master left an indelible impression on her. In a surprising twist, Norma then described what she saw next in her near-death experience. Another lifetime, a stark contrast to the previous one. This time she found herself as the white man on the horseback wielding the whip on the black people in those very same cotton fields. She concludes that we live it all. In other words, we live out what we do to others. Here's the clip.
No sooner I asked that question, the screen began to re-scroll. And now I am at the Akashic record. At that time, I did not know what it was, which is the record of everything that has happened, everything that has a potential to manifest itself into the world. And I'm now looking at the Akashic record, and now they have taken 6 past lives and dumped it into the one that I just reviewed. And the screen starts to re-scroll. And now it's a whole different review. I am looking at myself, living in times when there was darkness on the earth. and people walked around with torches. I watched myself as a woman and what it meant to be a woman in those days. And there was war between the tribes. And they decided that they will take the women and put them in small boats and put them out to sea because they were losing the war and they were afraid that if the women got killed, there would be no way of generating new life. And they put us on small boats and put us out to sea. And most of us, including myself, drowned. And in this lifetime, I've really, really had some love to be in the ocean, etc., but fear. And I'm now working through that fear. I saw myself at when they pulled Moses out of the bulrushes. I was one of the women who was present at that time. I saw myself living dire poverty. I mean, hunger. And you see, when you're reviewing this thing, you're experiencing it. You're experiencing the hunger. You're experiencing the fear, you know. Then I saw myself as of course, I had the experience of being very poor. I also had the experience of being wealthy. It's all balanced. But I think the one that really, when I left, it took a while for me to be able to process, was I saw myself as a child, a Black child in the cotton fields picking cotton besides my mother. And I could feel the pounding of the hoof of the master man on the horse. I can hear every time that whip goes out, because if you can't keep up your quota, you're whipped, you see. And I know that I'm a child, and the fear that I feel that when the master man gets to me, I'll be whipped because I'm a child. I can't keep up with the quota. And then the screen moves to another lifetime. And guess what, Melissa? I am the white man on the horse, flipping the whip in the cotton fields. We live it all. We live it all. There's no need to point fingers. And I review the seven lifetimes and how they have affected the choices that I made in coming to Earth this time around. And the screen came to an end.
That's an amazing story from Norma. It seems most people are unaware of their karma, whether good or bad, as they don't think that their thoughts and actions can result of good or bad things happening to them.
Yes, that statement is very true, as I have extensively researched why we endure hardship and suffering. One of the reasons is that we unconsciously create it with our interactions with others, animals, the planet, etc. As unbalanced, emotional people are unaware of their impact energetically on others or their own life. Therefore, they don't see how others can affect them and their energy. Emotionally unstable people can transfer harmful energy which is enhanced when projected for long periods. These people blame their circumstances and misfortunes on others and refuse to take responsibility for the things they attract. Instead, they justify their feelings to maintain their position and avoid change. Some people have more power than others to affect outcomes with their energy, which is why thoughts, actions, environments, relationships, etc. should not be underestimated. For example, in the 1970s, a Russian housewife and former Red Army Tank Regiment member, Nina Kolachana, made international headlines by demonstrating a series of astounding psychic powers. Russian scientists conducted a series of tests with her, including moving objects, influencing laser beam trajectories, and even stopping a frog's beating heart, all using her mind. Nina could generate electromagnetic heat with her body, and in the process she would occasionally burn holes in her own clothing. In one instance, she accidentally burned the arm of a reporter who happened to be present. Although this is an extreme case, never underestimate thoughts, intentions, and emotions which influence our lives on a grand scale. So make sure the energy is positive. Some highly competitive people focus on winning at all costs. They want a win-lose situation. Therefore, their focus is for you to fail at any price, which causes misfortunes in your life. This energy causes problems in your business, such as reduction in clients, sales, computer issues, or anything that blocks your finances, relationships, spirituality, or health. Innumerable examples exist of people losing large amounts of money when another covets what they have, causing their lives to change drastically. People who are jealous have low self-esteem because they measure their worth against others. Over the years, I've seen every effect negative energy can have on the unsuspecting. One young girl lost all her hair when her aunt was jealous of her beauty compared to her own daughter. The moment the negative energy was released, her hair grew back. In my personal experience, our success halts if one of our team members feels jealous or angry towards me, which is in essence forensic healing. However, success returns when I remove these people and clear the energy. When you blame another person, you hold them responsible for your feelings and you want them punished for what they have done to you. The blamer places destructive, angry energy in the person's energy field. This causes the receiver of the energy to make mistakes and attract situations that increase their guilt. Moreover, this then creates more problems that punish them unfairly. When this occurs, the blamer feels justified and enjoys watching the damage they unknowingly or knowingly cause. Since karma carries over from past lives or other incarnations, it may explain why some people are born in particular places and conditions. Your body holds a cell memory of your past lives that is stored in your Akashic records. This information in the Akashic records is the information of who you are, so it comes through until the karma is rectified and resolved. According to Dr. Mitchell E. Gibson, who is a board-certified forensic psychiatrist, there are 5 types of karma. Divine karma is given by the Creator and cannot be changed. Planetary karma relates to the location of where the person lives, and this often determines outside influences, opportunity, health, safety, etc. Archetypal karma is a person's overall design, destiny, abilities, talents, personality, character, etc. And stewardship karma determines material possessions and diseases a person has in a lifetime. Personal karma relates to the personal lifestyle choices a person makes. When they make bad choices, it increases bad karma. Wise karmic choices increase good karma.
It's fascinating to learn about this topic. It makes sense that somehow everything that happens to us must be based on laws of energy and science. Do you have some personal stories you could share?
Of course, sure. Many years ago, Debbie, a forensic healing student, attended my 7-day live training workshop. On the last day of the workshop, another student reported that Debbie was in a lot of pain and crying. She couldn't walk and was crouched over the floor. I approached Debbie and asked her if she wanted my assistance. I reiterated that she needed to be open for her problem to be addressed as her energy carried imprints of unresolved anger. She agreed. After Debbie was assisted on the massage table, I questioned which people she was angry towards. Debbie said that her son and her partner hadn't behaved in the way she wanted and it angered her. I then explained how anger hurts others, particularly when it's targeted at specific people. The energy damages the person because when you blame someone, you are saying it's their fault and they should be punished. Debbie had a difficult time taking responsibility for her emotions and understanding how this energy had returned to her in the form of extreme pain. As a side note, this is not the first time something like this has happened in forensic healing workshops, as the truth always comes to the surface. I've noticed that when I try to help someone with their pain or condition, but they harbor resentment, the healing is blocked. So after some time with Debbie, she finally agreed to apologize to her son, which was done by role-playing and visualizing the person she was blaming and then apologizing. It took some time for Debbie to repeat her apology since she wasn't sincere in the beginning. So after 40 minutes and then apologizing, Debbie's pain dropped to 0. It was that simple. So I've got another story about Mary from the USA. She was 61 and she was brought to me in chronic pain, which had haunted her for years. Despite taking prescription painkillers, she lived in overwhelming pain. Finally, a very concerned daughter brought her to my hotel room while I was on my forensic healing tour in 2011. Mary was admitted to the hospital the night before due to the excruciating pain. Mary winced as she slowly climbed onto my treatment table. She lay flat on the table, staring at the ceiling with a vacant look of hopelessness. So I said, let's begin. And I connected to her energy field using the forensic healing protocol that finds the clues that show in her energy field, and her archetype came up. She was the martyr. This indicates that she sacrifices herself by helping others and placing herself last. In addition, her negative life pattern was letting go. That showed she needed to let go of the hurt and resentment she was carrying. So as I continued the healing session, I felt a substantial energetic block, like trying to push down a brick wall. So I took a different approach and eventually found the reason for the block. At this point, Mary's pain levels increased from 10 out of 10 to 11, she said. So my next step was to ask Mary to explain what sort of relationships she had. And she started to tell me how she was hurt by many family members and she had a high level of resentment. The level was 10 out of 10 for each person, and this matched her high level pain. And I was trying to get her to become aware of the correlation between her resentment and her pain. And then I explained to her that she had a martyr archetype, that she was suffering for no reason, giving more when she shouldn't have been, and to think more of herself so she could stop resenting others and she could let go of the hurt she was carrying. It became plainly evident that Mary had allowed pain and hurt to be a constant companion in her life instead of realizing she had allowed it. At the age 7, these patterns were ingrained in her upbringing and continued to be part of her intimate relationships. Mary's pain was acknowledged through the forgiveness healing process, and part of the process involved apologizing to her for the pain and suffering from childhood and the people who had hurt her so she could let go of resentments. Following the release of her resentment towards the 4th family member, Mary responded, "I don't feel any pain. It was 0. So in my past experiences in similar scenarios, I knew intuitively that this was miraculous and that she would probably not last that long. So I just asked Mary to reflect, and her daughter was there, and I said, can you just take note of this, because it was like instant. It was amazing. And then it was only a few minutes before the pain had returned, because Mary had done no self-reflection. She had done no inner work. She had never looked at herself as part of the pain that she was causing herself and putting herself into this martyr, over-sacrificing situation. So the pain was to remind her to stop doing what she's doing, because if that pain had been removed, she would have gone back to that same old person. So the pain can be a catalyst for inner change, because when you realize that you're causing it yourself, then you have to do something about it.
That's really got me thinking about many things, from what I eat to what I wear or purchase. Can you tell us the story of the time you visited Uluru and the karmic experiences of visitors who took rocks and soil?
Yes, of course. I've mentioned my visit to Uluru in Freeing the Unloved Girl book. Uluru is a big red rock in the centre of Australia, which is known for its magical healing powers and spiritual ambience. It was some years ago that I conducted healing work among the Indigenous Ananguru people and researched the fantastic energies of Uluru. My crazy intention was to meet a witch doctor to expand my knowledge for the forensic healing course I was writing at that time. So when I arrived, the Aboriginal people kept to themselves, not trusting white people very much, which I don't really blame them for. So after some persuasion, I learned more about their culture, wisdom, and their deep respect for the earth. We were fortunate to be given special permission to visit sacred sites and film in areas like the Cultural Centre. There I found the Sorry Book, a compilation of letters from Uluru visitors about shocking life experiences they had encountered after removing rocks or red soil as souvenirs from Uluru. The park ranger reported that they received thousands of returned rocks, soil, and sorry letters every year. There was something mesmerizing about the stories in the Sorry Book. It was clear from most of the letters that the writers did not initially believe in superstition or karma. Following the deaths of close relatives, car accidents, bad relationships, and severe illnesses en masse, their opinions changed drastically. Here are some examples. I never believed it is true, but now after 2 years, I think it is. I made the biggest mistake of my life when I took some of the red sand. Since then, a lot of bad things have happened to us. I had my first miscarriage, and then my father got lung cancer and died. I then had a second miscarriage and then an ectopic pregnancy. The doctors had to remove a tube to save me. The father of my closest friend died of cancer, and my aunt died. I'm still not pregnant. Another one, I am Christian, and I was not superstitious when I took the red dirt. Since taking the dirt that same year, my husband had prostate cancer, a heart attack, then died with rapid progressive aphasia. My brother-in-law then died of brain cancer. My daughter-in-law lost her mother, and my son-in-law lost his mother. My son is now diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I now deeply regret what I have done. This is more proof that karma exists even if you don't believe in it. So in the upcoming video titled Review, Reflect and Respond, you'll discover if your negative experiences come from karma and how to resolve karmic events. Discover the transformative power of fostering positive karma, creating a deeper connection to the universal source. Think of it as an investment akin to accumulating wealth in the bank, paving the way for a life of increased freedom and abundance. I'll see you there.